It wasn't just a lyric, it was a vibe, a generation's unofficial theme song. And in the early 90s, that voice, clear, joyful, unapologetically bright, belonged to a teenager named Shanice. But where is she now? She went from child prodigy to platinum-selling sensation almost overnight. Yet, just a few years later, whispers began to spread. Did you hear Shanice disappeared? I heard she went broke. I think she's homeless now. How could someone with that voice, that smile, just vanish? This isn't just a story about fame. It's about a music industry that lifts stars just as quickly as it forgets them. About the price of being too sweet in a business that rewards scandal. And about the rare kind of soul who rises above it all with nothing but grace, grit, and a voice that could melt the hardest heart. So before you scroll away thinking, "Oh yeah, I remember that song," pause. Because behind Shanice's smile was a storm no one saw coming. And if you think you know her story, you're only just hitting play. If you love uncovering the real stories behind the voices that shaped music history, hit that subscribe button and join us here on Retro Waves, where legends live on. Before there was a platinum hit, before the glitz, the rumors, or the smile heard round the world, there was just a little girl with an impossible gift and a mother who believed. Shanice Lorraine Wilson was born on May 14th, 1973, in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Her beginnings were humble, but you could say her destiny was anything but ordinary. Her parents divorced when she was still a baby. Raised by her mother Crystal and later supported by her stepfather, Shanice was surrounded by both love and hustle. Crystal, herself a dreamer and a go-getter, worked hard to make ends meet while nurturing the incredible voice coming out of her daughter's tiny body. That voice, even at age 2, stopped people in their tracks. Shanice wasn't just singing nursery rhymes. She was mimicking Natalie Cole. She was hitting high notes with the kind of pitch-perfect control that even grown singers would envy. Her mother knew instantly. This wasn't normal. This was a gift, and it had to be protected. So in the mid-1970s, Crystal made a bold move. She packed up everything and relocated the family to Los Angeles. It was a leap of faith and a gamble. The kind of risk only a mother with a dream for her child would take. In L.A., Crystal and Shanice's Aunt Penny started a management company called Crystal Penny. Their first and only client? Little Shanice. Before she was even in double digits, Shanice was singing in every local talent show she could find, from churches to shopping malls to rec centers, and she was winning. At age 9, she booked national commercials for McDonald's and KFC. Her infectious energy and charisma lit up the screen, but it was her voice that truly stunned casting agents. They weren't used to seeing someone so young with that kind of vocal maturity. And then came Star Search. Dressed in pink, with her hair in tight curls and eyes wide with wonder, Shanice took the stage like she'd been doing it for a lifetime. She didn't just compete, she soared. Week after week, she stunned the audience with her ability to deliver powerhouse ballads with soulful emotion, like she'd lived 100 lives already. But here's the twist. Even then, industry execs weren't sure what to do with her. She wasn't edgy, she wasn't controversial, she wasn't a troubled prodigy story that could sell tabloids. She was kind, sweet, always smiling. In some rooms they called that too safe. In others they whispered behind closed doors, she's too talented to control. Still, that didn't stop her. She trained. She studied her idols, Whitney, Aretha, Chaka, Denise Williams, not just listening to their records, but analyzing them like textbooks. How did they breathe? Where did they place their vowels? Why did certain runs feel like goosebumps? And all the while, she remained humble, grounded in family, faith, and an overwhelming gratitude just to be in the room. At only 11 years old, all her hard work paid off. Shanice signed her first record deal with A&M Records. She was still just a child, but the world was already watching. When Shanice released her debut album Discovery at just 14 years old, the industry took notice, but it didn't quite know what to do with her. The album was filled with groove-heavy tracks, synth-funk beats, and sweet ballads, showcasing that powerful voice in a teenage frame. Singles like Baby Tell Me, Can You Dance, and No One Half Steppin' earned her modest airplay, and she even made history as one of the youngest solo artists signed to a major label. But commercial success? It was still just out of reach. She did everything the label asked: photo shoots, dance rehearsals, press tours. But the world of late 80s R&B was shifting. Artists were expected to fit into specific molds. Shanice, with her wholesome image and powerhouse vocals, didn't fall easily into any category. And so she was labeled too pop for R&B, too R&B for pop, too sweet to sell. Behind closed doors, label heads argued over her sound. Marketing teams didn't know how to package her. At one point, there were whispers that executives wanted to sex up her image, turn her into a Janet or Paula Abdul clone. But Shanice pushed back. She knew who she was, she knew what her voice could do, and she knew she didn't need to show skin to showcase talent. Still, not everyone agreed. And while her first album proved she had staying power, it didn't make her a household name. By 1990, she'd quietly left A&M Records. That's when Motown stepped in. The iconic label, home to legends like Diana Ross and Stevie Wonder, signed Shanice in what felt like a full-circle moment. It was a fresh start, a clean slate. She went into the studio with Narada Michael Walden, a producer who understood vocalists, someone who could push her without changing her. In 1991, they released Inner Child. It was bold, confident, lush with harmonies and anchored by a track that would change everything. When I Love Your Smile dropped, it didn't just land, it soared. Success came fast, but it didn't stick around. After I Love Your Smile became an international smash, Shanice seemed destined for superstardom. She was just 17, gracing the covers of magazines, appearing on MTV, and even touring globally. The world had fallen in love with her, or at least with the image of her. But the machine behind the music? That was another story. Motown, now under different leadership, wasn't sure how to follow up her success. Her next singles, including the breathtaking ballad I Hate to Be Lonely, and the upbeat Lovin' You cover, didn't receive the same promotional push. Internally, executives argued that Shanice didn't have a controversial edge to keep media attention. They wanted her to reinvent, to chase trends, to adapt to the sexed-up, drama-fueled pop scene taking over the 90s. But Shanice refused to become a manufactured product. She was an artist, a vocalist, a woman with values. Her 1994 self-titled album, under a new label, should have been a comeback. It had the maturity, the production, the emotion. But radio support was soft. Music video rotation? Minimal. And fans were left wondering, where did Shanice go? And that's when the rumors started. In the early 2000s, as the R&B landscape changed and newer voices filled the airwaves, whispers began circulating online. She's broke. She's living with her mom again. I heard she's homeless. They weren't just rumors, They were based in truth. In a later interview, Shanice admitted that after years of financial mismanagement, bad industry deals, and a costly break from the spotlight, she and her husband, Flex Alexander, faced real hardship. By 2009, they lost their home and had to move in with family. For many celebrities, that would have been the end, but not for Shanice. While tabloids ran with headlines like, "Former star hits rock bottom," Shanice was quietly rebuilding, with grace, faith, and the same optimism that once charmed the world. When some people fall, they disappear. When Shanice fell, she redefined herself. By the late 1990s, she was no longer the girl in bright colors giggling on MTV. She was a woman, a mother, and an artist with scars and stories that gave her voice even more power. In 1999, she returned with the album Shanice under LaFace Records. It was stripped down, soul-driven, and deeply personal. The lead single, When I Close My Eyes, soared to the Billboard Top 20, not just a chart win, but a symbolic rebirth.
When I close my eyes, I break down and cry.
And here's something not everyone knew. Shanice co-wrote the song. That moment marked a shift. She wasn't just singing someone else's words anymore, she was speaking her own truth. She also became one of the industry's best-kept secrets behind the scenes. You might not have seen her, but if you listened closely, you could hear her, doing backing vocals for artists like Toni Braxton, Usher, and even Michael Jackson. Yes, Michael Jackson. That's how respected her voice was. She didn't stop there. Shanice hit Broadway, playing Eponine in Les Miserables, proving she could conquer any genre, any stage. And if you watched Disney's Aladdin and the King of Thieves, you heard her again. She was the singing voice of Princess Jasmine. She had gone from pop star to behind-the-scenes powerhouse. But she wasn't done. In 2014, Shanice and her husband Flex opened their lives to the world through the reality series Flex and Shanice on Oprah Winfrey's own network. It wasn't glamorized, it wasn't curated, it was real. Cameras followed them as they juggled parenting, rebuilding their finances, reigniting their careers, and healing from the wounds fame had left behind. And in the process, Shanice reminded the world of her realest gift, not just her voice, but her spirit. Some artists topped charts. Shanice touched hearts. Even decades later, I Love Your Smile is still one of those songs that brings people back, not just to the 90s, but to a feeling, a time when music made you feel safe, uplifted, and joyful without needing to shock or provoke. That song, and that laugh in the middle, became one of the most iconic moments in early 90s R&B. But Shanice's legacy runs deeper than a single hit. She helped carve a space for black girls in pop who didn't want to trade vulnerability for edge, who wanted to sing about love without pain, who believed that lightness could be powerful. Her vocal technique, clarity, and control have been praised by legends. Brandy has cited her as an influence. Tori Kelly grew up studying her tone, and Ariana Grande once shared clips of herself covering Shanice's runs. That's the thing about pioneers. They don't always get the front page, but their fingerprints are everywhere. Her music has been sampled in hip-hop, featured in films, and rediscovered by a new generation thanks to TikTok. In 2022, I Love Your Smile became a trending audio, once again soundtracking moments of joy, dance, and connection around the world. And through it all, Shanice has remained exactly who she is. No scandals, no personas, no artifice. Just a woman with a voice and a soul she refused to compromise. She didn't just leave behind a song, she left a standard. Behind the talent, behind the smile, was a woman quietly carrying the weight of expectations, and sometimes of heartbreak. Shanice has always been private, but when she opened up about her life, what emerged wasn't a cautionary tale, it was a human one. She's spoken about the pressure to always appear happy, even when she wasn't. About battling self-doubt in an industry that constantly told her she wasn't edgy enough to matter. The rumors of her downfall, the whispers of homelessness, of irrelevance, those hurt. Not because they were entirely false, but because they were incomplete. Shanice did struggle. She did lose her home. She did step away from music when it stopped feeling like love. But she never lost herself. Her love story with actor Flex Alexander became a pillar of strength in her life. They married in 2000 and built not just a family, but a partnership. Through the ups and downs, they remained united and vocal about the realities of fame and money. During the 2008 recession, their financial difficulties forced them to downsize drastically. The press pounced. But the couple turned adversity into transparency, opening up their journey on their own reality series, Flex and Shanice. The show pulled back the curtain on celebrity life and revealed something far more compelling than fame: resilience. Together, they navigated anxiety, the hustle of audition life, and the pain of rebuilding a dream from scratch. And even in her darkest moments, Shanice never stopped singing. Because for her, music wasn't just a career, it was a form of prayer. These days, Shanice isn't chasing charts. She's building a legacy. She's still singing, still performing, and still blessing audiences with the same unmistakable voice. Only now, it's deeper. Not just in tone, but in truth. On social media, she shares covers, vocal tips, and slices of her life. She connects with fans on a level few artists ever achieve, not with glamour, but with realness. She's not afraid to talk about aging in the industry, about parenting, about faith, about joy that doesn't come from success, but from gratitude. She's also become a mentor, not officially, but in the way that counts. Young singers often reach out to her. Some ask for advice. Others just want to say thank you. Because Shanice proved that you can be soft and strong, sweet and smart, faithful and fearless. She reminds us that sometimes the greatest stories aren't about comebacks at all, but about consistency, about being yourself, even when the world tells you to change. And when she steps on stage now, whether it's a TV show, a small club, or a throwback festival, her voice still hits like a sunrise. There's a warmth in her presence, an ease. She's not trying to prove anything anymore. She already did. Shanice's story is one of those rare journeys that doesn't end in a dramatic fall or a sensational scandal. It ends in resilience, in quiet strength, in joy reclaimed. She was once the girl who lit up every radio with a smile. Now, she's the woman who lights up lives with her example. So the next time "I Love Your Smile" plays, don't just sing along. Remember the girl who smiled through doubt, the artist who chose integrity over industry pressure, the mother, the wife, the legend who kept going when no one was watching. Because real greatness isn't loud, it's lasting. What's your favorite Shanice song? Let us know in the comments. We'd love to hear the soundtrack of your memories. And if you're into iconic artists, timeless tracks, and powerful stories from the golden eras of music, hit like, subscribe, and ring that bell so you never miss a beat here on Retro Waves, because here, legends live on.